Hello my dear students, in this lecture we are going to see torque and frictional losses in case of sliding contact bearing. It is also called power loss in sliding contact bearing. Now let us consider sliding contact bearing. Let us say there is a one wall. I will say this is a wall. Here you will find this is a wall. Now in this wall, if I simply drill one hole, let us say this hole is made inside wall, right? If I simply drill one hole inside wall, then this hole becomes a sliding contact bearing. Here this is a wall. Inside this wall a simply hole is drilled and this becomes a bearing. This becomes a bearing, or we can say it is a hole, or we can say it is a bush. We can say it is a bush, right? Now let us say this hole or bearing will be having diameter capital D, right? Therefore capital D is a diameter of hole or bearing or hole or bush. Therefore we can say capital R is nothing but diameter divided by 2 is a radius of bearing, radius of bearing or bush or hole, right? Now if a shaft is kept inside this, let us say the shaft is kept inside this, let us say this is a shaft, or we can say journal, right? Here this is a shaft, we can say shaft, or the portion of shaft inside bearing is also called journal. The portion of shaft inside bearing is also called journal, therefore it is also called journal. And let us say it is having diameter small d, it is having diameter small d, right? Therefore we can say small d is diameter of shaft, or we can say journal also, we can say journal also. Journal is a portion of shaft inside bearing, right? Now the space sliding contact bearing is nothing but simply a hole drilled between a inside a wall, and this hole is acting as a support for this shaft, right? And the space between shaft and bearing is filled with lubricant. The space between shaft and bearing is filled with lubricant. Here you will find this is a lubricant, inside them there is a lubricant, right? And if I fill this space with lubricant, then it forms or it becomes a sliding contact bearing, right? Now this lubricant is a viscous lubricant, therefore there will be a some part of fluid mechanics also. As this fluid or space filled, gap filled with lubricant, this lubricant is a viscous lubricant, we can say it is a viscous lubricant, that is having, it is having some viscosity. Mu is called dynamic viscosity, mu is called dynamic viscosity, or it is simply a viscosity, right? It is also called simply viscosity. It is generally given in Pascal second, that is Newton per meter square into second, right? Or generally given in poise. One poise, one poise is nothing but 0.1 Pascal second. This is a unit conversion. This already you have learned in fluid mechanics, right? Because of this viscous fluid, there will be a frictional shear stresses, right? As per Newton's law of viscosity, there will be a frictional shear stresses, right? Now we have to understand these frictional shear stresses. And my dear students, there is a gap between journal or shaft and bearing. Let us say this gap is called radial clearance. This gap is called radial clearance. We can say it as CR. This gap is CR, where CR is radial clearance. Radial clearance, which is nothing but we can say, see, diameter of shaft is small d, therefore radius of shaft will be small d, small r, that is small d by 2, which is nothing but radius of shaft, radius of shaft, or we can say journal. And this radial clearance will be nothing equal to radius of bearing minus radius of journal, right? This is a radial clearance. Now, this radial clearance is generally in microns. This is very small, right? Therefore, we are assuming the velocity distribution between this viscous layer is linear. This is our assumption, right? And let us assume this shaft is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. This is my assumption, my dear students. I am assuming this shaft is rotating in anti-clockwise direction with speed n rpm. This is the speed of shaft, speed of journal or shaft. N is speed of shaft or journal in rpm, right? And if I want to consider in rps, that is ns is equal to n by 60, which is nothing but speed in revolution per second, rps, right? This is the speed of shaft. Now shaft is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. This is my assumption. Therefore this point will move towards right with some velocity, right? Because of this anti-clockwise rotation, the surface point of the shaft will move towards right with surface velocity vs, right? Therefore we can say vs is velocity of shaft, velocity of shaft in meter per second, that is surface velocity of shaft in meter per second, right? This can be calculated as angular velocity r omega. The formula is to find r omega from engineering mechanics, right? R omega, where omega is angular velocity of shaft, omega is angular velocity of shaft, which is nothing but in rad per second, and r is radius of shaft, small r is radius of shaft, omega is angular velocity of shaft. Now the angular velocity of shaft can be calculated as, we know that 2 pi n upon 60, right? Where the omega will be in rad per second if this n used in rpm, revolution per minute, because we are dividing with 60, and if not divided with 60, then this omega becomes 2 pi ns, right? And omega in rad per second, then this ns becomes in rps, revolution per second, and revolution per second is nothing but revolution per minute divided by 60, right? This is the angular velocity. This is how we can find surface velocity of a shaft. And my dear students, this wall, or we can say bearing, is fixed. This wall is fixed. Therefore the hole drilled in the wall is nothing but part of wall only. This is a surface of wall, that is the diameter of bearing, capital D. This circumference is a surface of wall. Therefore this surface will be moving with zero velocity as it is fixed, right? Therefore we can say the velocity of this bearing is zero, and as gap is very small for this viscous fluid, the gap is very small in micron, therefore in between them we can assume linear distribution of velocity. Now, so by assuming linear distribution of velocity between shaft and bearing, let us find shear stresses, right? Now here I am erasing everything. Now let us go for the finding of shear stresses. Now we know that this wall is under stationary condition, therefore the first layer of fluid in contact with wall, we can say here the first layer of fluid which is in contact with wall or bearing is under no slip condition as per fluid mechanics. Therefore this point will be having zero velocity. Therefore let us say v is a velocity of bearing, v is velocity of bearing, which is 0, which is 0 meter per second, right? And the space between bearing and shaft, which is nothing but called gap or radial clearance, will experience linear distribution of velocities, right? Therefore the velocity distribution will be linear like this. Here I am assuming linear distribution because of very small gap in microns, right? Now because of this, as per Newton's law of viscosity, we can say as per Newton's law of viscosity, this concept I am using from fluid mechanics, right? The viscous shear stresses, this tau is shear stress, is nothing but mu du by dy, that already you have learned in fluid mechanics first topic, right, where tau is nothing but viscous shear stress. This is a shear stress, we can say in Newton per meter square, that is Pascal, that is Pascal. And for this case, this mu is dynamic viscosity or simply viscosity in Pascal second, and mu du by dy is called velocity gradient. Mu du by dy is called velocity gradient, which is nothing but velocity in meter per second and distance in meter, which is nothing but 1 upon second, right, which is nothing but velocity gradient. Therefore we can say Pascal second into 1 upon second becomes Pascal, right. This is how we can find viscous shear stresses. Therefore let us find the values. Therefore tau is nothing but mu, du is nothing but change in velocity, du is nothing but change in velocity, which is nothing but we can say velocity of shaft minus velocity of bearing, right, divided by dy is nothing but distance between shaft and bearing. This gap is called dy, right, which is nothing but radial clearance, which is nothing but radial clearance, right. Therefore tau is nothing but equal to, see my dear students, already we have learned that the bearing is stationary moving with zero velocity. Therefore it becomes mu velocity of shaft divided by radial clearance. This is a torsional or sorry frictional shear stress. It is also called frictional shear stress or also called torsional shear stress, because as the shaft is rotating there is a torque, right. Now this is how frictional shear stress is calculated or viscous shear stresses are calculated, where Vs is nothing but velocity of shaft calculated as r omega, and which is nothing but r 2 pi n upon 60, right, that we have learned. And radial clearance is nothing but radius of bearing minus radius of shaft, right. Now as there is torsion or frictional shear stress, there will be a frictional force. This shear stress is induced or generated because of the forces only. Therefore there will be a frictional force which is calculated as, this frictional force is nothing but frictional shear stress into area, right. And this is a force, frictional force, we can say this is a frictional force, right, in Newton. And if I consider shear stress in Newton per meter square, then I have to consider area in meter square, then I will find frictional force in Newton. Now area, consider area. See this surface of shaft, on the surface of shaft there will be a frictional shear stress, right. For length L, this shaft or journal we can say, let us consider this is a shaft for length L. The portion of shaft inside bearing is called journal. Therefore this is a journal, this is a journal of length L and diameter small d, diameter small d. The external surface, this external surface is subjected to shear stresses because there is a lubricant on circumference, there is a lubricant. Therefore this circumference for length L is subjected to frictional shear stresses. Therefore here area you will find, that is circumference pi d for length L. This pi dl surface area will be the area for shear forces or frictional forces, right. Therefore from this we can calculate frictional force, which is nothing but, once you calculate frictional shear stress or torsional shear stress, then frictional force will be equal to tau torsional shear stress or frictional shear stress into area, which is nothing but pi dl. This is how we can find frictional force, right. And my dear students, we know that torque represented by capital T is nothing but frictional force into radius of shaft. As shaft is rotating, the torque is applied on shaft only, right. Therefore it is frictional force into radius of shaft, right. This is how torque is calculated in Newton meter. This will be Newton meter if force is considered in Newton, radius in meter. Otherwise it will be in Newton mm if radius is considered in mm, right. And this is a frictional torque, we can say this is a frictional torque. Because of this torque there will be a power loss. Therefore we can calculate power loss. Power loss is nothing but P, which is nothing but torque into angular velocity of shaft. right? Therefore the power loss is calculated as torque into angular velocity of shaft is nothing but 2 pi n upon 60, right? Therefore power loss is equal to 2 pi n upon 60 into T, right? Where this power loss we will get in watt if I consider torque in Newton meter and speed in RPM, revolution per minute, then I will get this power loss in watt. And my dear students, this is a very hot topic in GATE examination. They are asking many questions to calculate this power loss in case of sliding contact bearing. So you must know the procedure to find this power loss in sliding contact bearing. First of all, we have to find viscous shear stresses at this gap, and once the viscous shear stresses are calculated as per Newton's law of viscosity, then find frictional force by multiplying this shear stress with pi dl, that is area of surface area of shaft, and then find torque and then find power loss. Thank you dear students. In next lecture we will see one more important topic which is called Summerfield number.